Moving on to health insurance. Do you currently have health insurance? You want to click yes if you do, which will be a positive factor, or no if you don't. If you answered yes, attach evidence of this health insurance. So if you want to get a letter from your health insurance, because in this case your health insurance card alone will not work unless it has all the intricate detail as to when your health insurance was established and the date that it will end. If that is on your card, then the card will be sufficient. If not, you want to get a letter from your health insurance explaining that yes, you're covered, what you're covered for, and the period for which you're covered, and maybe explaining your premium. If yes, if no to item 15, then proceed to item D. So if you selected no, you would skip all of this section right here and then move on to the next page. But if you selected yes, did you receive a premium tax credit or advance of credit under the Affordable Cares Act for health insurance? You want to click yes if it applies to you. In this case, it's a no. So if you're not familiar with what the Affordable Health Care Act is, basically what they call the Obama Health Care. So you want to go ahead and read up on that to find out if you had a tax credit or not. If yes to item 15, what is your total annual deductible or annual premium? You want to enter an amount here. If you did not, you just click not applicable. And also when is your insurance termination date or the date to be renewed. In that case, it's not applicable to us. Moving on to page 8. So in this section now, it says you or your spouse, household member, asset, resource, and financial status continued. So D asks, have you enrolled or will soon enroll in health insurance, but your health insurance coverage has not yet started? So remember up here in the section where it asks if you currently have insurance, and if you selected no, they ask you to move down to section D, right? Yes. So in that case, you want to move down to question D and answer that question. But in this case, we do have health insurance, so we're going to select yes. However, if you are about to enroll in an health insurance, or for example, you have put in application for an insurance but have not received the information yet, you want to click yes, I'm enrolled, or yes, I will soon enroll, or no. And it says if you answered yes, attach a letter or evidence from the insurance company showing that you have enrolled in or have a future enrollment date for your health insurance when your coverage begin. Basically, this is self-explanatory. So you're going to get a letter for health insurance basically stating that yes, you have applied for the insurance. However, it will begin at a particular date and what you are covered under by that health insurance. If you receive federally funded Medicaid, please list those benefits in item 15 and 16. If no to item 15, you may provide information on how you plan to pay reasonably anticipated medical costs. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in part 9. So say for example, you're married to someone who is wealthy, so you don't really need to have health insurance, and you have money, I guess. Even though if you have money, you're gonna want to have health insurance. But anyways, they're just asking you to provide, if you don't have health insurance and if something happens to you, how do you intend to cover your costs? That's basically what they're asking. All right, moving to question 16. And now we're here at another tricky section, public benefit. And this is basically what this form is surrounded by. So when you read the instruction, it will basically give you an idea of what they consider public charge. Not saying that if you receive certain stuff, it is everything. If you receive certain help from the government, it is considered public charge. No, only certain things are considered as public charge. So if you receive like Section 8 housing, certain type of health insurance, then you're considered public charge. So here in 16 it has you ever received or currently certified to receive in the future any of the following benefits? You want to click yes if you are or have received. No, I have not received any public benefits. No, I'm not certified to receive any public benefits in the future. So if you say yes, I have received and I'm currently certified to receive in the future, you want to go and select which one of these you are going to receive. If you select no, I have not received any public benefits, which will be a positive for you if you are really not receiving any public benefit. Or you can say no, I am not certified to receive any public benefit in the future. You want to go ahead and select that too if you have not received any or you haven't filed for any. Selecting these two will definitely be a positive to your form. Any of the above may be a negative, but even if you select any of the above here, just give an explanation as to why you had to use that particular benefit, or if you did use it and stop, you want to know that. Although there's a section coming up where it will ask you to list whatever start date or stop date if you have received any benefit. Now, question 17. Have you disenrolled or withdrawn from any or requested? Here, this is no for our application here. But if you have, you're going to put in your date here. But in this case, it's not applicable. What question 17 is basically asking is, for example, if you were enrolled to receive public benefit, or if you were receiving public benefit but ended it based on you not wanting to be a public charge anymore, or if you had submitted an application, if you withdrew it, you want to note that right here. Okay, moving, we're midway now. For page number 9. Continue under the same part 3, and here it basically says if you select one or more public benefits in item 16, which is any one of this right here, you want to go ahead and list a type of benefit. So for example, if you selected general assistance, you want to go ahead and put in general assistance here, the agency that you received it from, the date you started, the date it will expire, and any amount that you have received. In relation to this application, we did not receive, so all of this here will be not applicable. And basically the same for this here. Everything in this slot will be not applicable as how we did up here, right? Moving on to question 19. If you answered yes to item 16, let's go back and look at item 16 again. It's still on public charge. Do any of the following applies to you? Select all that apply. Provide the evidence listed in the instruction if any of the following apply to you. So within this section right here, if you go to the instruction, you'll see where they give an expounded or expanded explanation of each of these options for you to select. So it says, I am enlisted in U.S. military, U.S. Armed Forces, or I'm serving active duty or in ready reserve of the U.S. Armed Forces. I am a spouse or a child of an individual who is enlisted in the U.S. Arms or is serving in active duty in the ready reserve component. At the time I received the public benefit, I or my spouse or parent was enlisted in the U.S. Armed Forces or was reserved. So basically, to just sum up, what this is saying is if you receive public benefit, because being in someone in the military or a dependent of someone in the military, you receive certain benefits from the government, which does not disqualify you or make you inadmissible. If none of these apply to you, you're gonna stick none of the statement above applies to me. Number 20. Have you received, applied for, or have been certified to receive federal funded Medicaid in connection with any of the following? Select all that apply. Submit evidence as outlined in instruction: an emergency medical condition for service under the Individual with Disability Act, Education Act, or the school-based benefit while you were under age 21, while you were pregnant, or during 60 days period. So remember I was saying is either a 30 or 60-day period in the beginning of this video. So it's a 60-day period. Or you want to click none of the above apply to me. In this case, none of the above. But this is basically going back to what I said previously in the video. So for example, persons who are here who are here under the DACA program or here an asylum may, for example, met in an accident, had to get emergency medical, and they applied for some Medicaid insurance. Or if you receive it while you're underage, so you have kids who come here under the age of 21 that has been here without the right documentation, and they still may have gotten access to certain health benefit, whether when they're going to school or anything like that. So that is what this section basically talks about. Again, you can go into the instruction and it gives you a detailed explanation of what each of these are about. So you can go through, read each of them to see if it applies to you or a family member that is adjusting their status. 21 says provide the applicable date. So it's basically providing the date for which you received whatever you selected in question 20. Have you ever applied for any of the following public benefit and the application is currently pending or was denied? In our case, it will be any for 21. Have you ever applied for any of the following public benefit and the application is currently pending? You click yes if you are. In our case, it's a no. If yes, to item 22, provide the following. Select all that applies. So in this case, if you have a current application that is pending for any public benefits, you want to go and select that yes, I have a public application pending, and you select whichever public benefit that you have the application pending for. Or say I applied for the application, it was denied. So if you applied for any one of these benefits, if you were denied, you want to put or select which public benefit. And again, if you happen to select yes and select one, maybe it's your situation, you want to give an explanation in the additional information section, so the officer or whoever looking at your file can get a more insight as to why you had to apply for any of this benefit. All right, moving on to page 10. Still under part 3. Part 3 is very long. Date you applied for any of the above public benefit. In our case, it does not apply, but if you have the pending application, you want to put the date that you submitted the application. Did you withdraw your application before being certified to receive the public benefit? In our case, all of this does not apply. Have you ever applied for or received a waiver fee when applying? Have you ever applied for or received a fee waiver when applying for an immigration benefit from USCIS? You want to select no there. For this one, you're going to select no for 25 also, yeah. So if you answered yes to item 26, provide the instruction below. So if you receive for some application or some form, you have the option, or some people, like some asylum persons applying for asylum, and some other categories may qualify for a fee waiver. So you want to list any one of them that you got a fee waiver for. If it does not apply to you, you want to go ahead and fill in this with not applicable. And all of this here, not applicable, just as though I did up here. Moving on to part 4, your education and skills. So it said, do you have an approved I-140 as an alien worker? In our case, it's a no. So you want to, if you are probably employment based, then the form I-140 may apply to you. If yes, to item 1, you want to put your seat number. In our case, it's a none or not applicable. You can put here in one of the two for this section right here, because this question just doesn't apply to us. So some may ask when to use not applicable and when not to use none. My obvious answer would be anywhere numeric figure should be, you put none. But you can put, in this case, you can put not applicable, because in essence, question 1 did not apply to us in this case. But for example, where it asks for an alien number or a USCIS online number, it does apply to us. It's just that we do not have one. Moving on. Provide information about your education, occupational skill, and other related information. If you need additional space to complete any item in this part, use space provided in part 9, additional information. Have you graduated high school or earned an high school equivalent diploma? If you do, you want to select yes. If no, you select no and give an explanation as to why you did not finish in additional information. List your educational history below, including all degree attained, high school diploma, college degree, equivalent. If you answer no, then list the highest grade completed. Provide a documentation as provided in the instruction. You want to start off most likely with your current or your most recent qualification. So if you're somebody who have, per se, an associate degree, a bachelor's, or a master's, depending on your level of education. So in this case, we're going to say that Jane has a bachelor. So let's say she went to Trinidad University. You want to write out university, don't be short-handed like I did. And she got a bachelor's degree, bachelor's in education degree. And, or I think you want to write it out. So you don't want to do the short and writing. No, you want to write out the completion of the acronym. Field of study, probably she studied secondary education. Then you want to put the date, so maybe she started the 1st of the 9th, 2000. And remember that some places they use a date, then the month. You always want to keep the format. In the US format, is the month, then the day. And maybe she went up until July. So July 1st. It's a lot of school. 2005, put it that way. Creditor hours completed. If no creditor hours is completed, so she did complete her bachelor's, so put any. But it's a case where maybe you started your bachelor's degree and did not complete but have attained certain credits, then you can list it right there. Then you want to go on to maybe the high school she went to, Trinidad High, and she did a high school diploma here. And fields of study may be general, because in high school you do a number of courses. Then you basically want to put the dates right there and not applicable right here. And if you have other areas, you maybe want to stop at high school. You don't want to go down to like a primary or middle school level. So you can just stop at maybe at your high school. So in this case, you'll use up these other areas. If for say you had like a master's or a PhD, then you'd use up all the slot, because you'd actually start here with your PhD or your master's and then list accordingly. But since that's it for us, we're just gonna put NA in all these areas or slots. NA. Oh, where I put the blue dots. Now it says, do you have an occupational skill? So if you do, you select yes. If you don't, you select no. So when they talk about occupational skill now, they're talking about if you have any license. So for example, if you are in the field of cosmetology, in this field of nursing, anything that actually you get a certification or a license for, if you are in events management, if you're in project management, and you have an occupational skill, you want to select yes. If you don't have, you can select no, and then you just list not applicable for all of these slots. But if you do, you're going to select yes, and then you had the type of license. So for example, we have a license in cosmetology, and you put the date you obtained it, your license number, if any. If you don't have any, then you put not applicable in the sort. You're gonna put who issues it, so maybe it's the Cosmetology Board of Trinidad and Tobago. And you want to put your renewal or expiration date right here. And if you add additional certification, then you fill it in right here. If you do not, then it's NA as usual. All where I'm having the slots, NA for all those areas, right? Then we continue to question number 5. It says, provide the following information about your English and other language. So if you did an English course, and in this case, it doesn't include like the English courses that you did as a part of your degree or a part of high school. So for example, if you're from an English speaking country, you may have short courses that are in Spanish or in French that you may go to a particular school for and get certified. You want to include that right here. If you're from like a Spanish speaking country and you did an English course, that's what you want to put right here. Not so much the classes that you did in high school or at the tertiary level. And remember also that you are going to need to get your degrees and your occupational license evaluated. I'll also list in my next video how you can go about getting your qualifications accredited. So for this section now, if it doesn't apply to you, especially if you're from a speaking country, then you want to put NA right here. But if you're not from an English speaking country, then you're wanting to have something in here, some sort of certification, because that will weigh in as a positive for you. So all of these blue sections, you're going to fill in with NA. Next is asks you, are you currently retired? Obviously, for most younger people, would be a no. If yes, you stick no. If you are retired, since when have you retired? If you selected yes, then you want to put the date right there. Are you a primary caregiver who is over the age of 18 for a child or an elderly, ill, or disabled person in your household? If it's yes, select yes. If it's no, select no. If it's a case where you have a child, then you want to select yes. If you are like a stay-at-home mom for that person right now or your child, you want to select yes. If not, just select no. Then we're down to part 5, where it says declaration. So you want to go ahead and make sure you read all of this and select what applies to you. In this case, it says we're going to select A, where it says I can read and understand English, and I have understand every question. I've read and understand every question, instruction on the declaration, and my answer to every question. Or if it's you have an interpreter, you want to select this to say that the interpreter has read it to you and you understand what you are signing to. And number 2, the current statement regarding the preparer. So if you had someone who prepare your form, then you want to put that information right here. So maybe if you use an attorney or so, they'll put the information there. Then you want to go ahead and put in your daytime number and your email address right here. You want to go ahead and read through all this information right here, and down here. Just to sum up, what it's basically saying right here is that they have the right to reach out to certain agencies to get information or verify about. So especially when it comes to like your credit score and stuff, they may reach out to the different credit bureaus. Or when it comes to your social security, if you listed that you have one, they may reach out to see if you receive any benefits assistance through these agency. Then you want to read your declaration, and then you want to go ahead and after you did all of this, you sign it after you print it. So you want to make sure you know to sign after you print. So this one you have to print and submit because it's not available to online. So you want to sign it right there and put the date that you sign it after you printed it. If you had someone prepare your form for you, you want to put in their information right here. If not, you can put NA for all of this right here. All the blue dots, you want to put NA right there. Also, if you had a preparer, for example, like an attorney office doing your form, then they would fill out the section right here. If you did not use an attorney, it's NA for all the slots in these sections also, just as how we did the interpreter. And they would sign this section right here. And you have this section signature at interview. So when you go for the interview, this section will be read and sign, and you go ahead and sign. One thing I suggest also when signing all your forms, you can go ahead and sign it in blue ink, so it distinguishes an original signature to show that it's an original signature. Fill everything. If you have to fill in any information, do it in black ink, but your signature can be in blue ink. And for section 9 now, here is where you would had any other information. You want to make sure that you put in the name, your alien number if any. You want to put the page, the part number, and the item, and give an explanation as to what you're talking about or what you're referring to. If all of this section is used up, you can use like just type your information on the computer and then print it out and attach it as an additional form for more space. So this comes to the end of this video. I hope you have learned a lot, or I have been thorough enough to help somebody out there that is in need of getting some help in filling out this form. I hope it was helpful and useful. If it was, give this video a thumbs up, share, subscribe to this channel. It's a starting channel here to help you guys. I myself have gone through this process and is still going through this process somewhat. And we know here in this community we need help as much as possible just to get through. I am previously a B2 visitor, married to a US citizen, applied for my green card. So that's my avenue. So if you need any help, just reach out with a question. I'll be posting more videos. My next video will be about the different documents to submit with your I-944, or a listing of documents that you can submit. And hopefully that video will also be of help. Thank you. Please subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Like the video and turn on your notification bell.